Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our 10-player tournament edition of the Tomb of Horrors, originally written by Gary Gygax in 1975 and ran as a tournament at Origins 1 and published by TSR. It was then adapted for the 3.5 edition of Dungeons & Dragons in the late 90s by Bruce R. Cordell, actually at the early 2000s, for the 3.5 version of the game. Which has then been adapted to the Pathfinder Fantasy role-playing game by Aaron K. Hale, who is myself, and I will be the GM for tonight's game. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. I have been having a wonderful time living by the dice roll ever since I first encountered Frank Mentzer's Red Box in 1988. And I have just been a avid player of Fantasy Tabletop ever since. And by speaking of, Bargle, if you are out there, I am still going to get you, you bastard. I am not giving up. So I am joined tonight by a host of 10 players who are surrounding me at our virtual table here on Roll20. We are actually coming to you virtually using Discord for our audio. But most of our players tonight are from the Mount Pleasant Pathfinder Society Lodge, located in mid-Michigan in the United States. And we're going to go ahead and go right to introductions of who's with us tonight. And everyone's going to explain who they are and what character they'll be playing in tonight's Tomb of Horrors tournament.
My name is Jeff Wing, and I will, I've been playing role-playing games since 2005. I showed up to play Warhammer 40k, and there were some people playing D&D and at 3.5, and I got involved and loved it. My first character was a paladin, which I will be playing tonight in the form of Talia. I am a paladin from Osirion, and I am accompanied by my friend Pippi! My name is Pippi! And I'll be helping out quite a bit, as I'm a cleric of ideals. It's great to meet you all.
And now for Tim.
Derek, I've been playing role-playing games for about 30-some years, and started out in basic D&D with the big black box with the red dragon on the front of it. I'm going to be playing Tim tonight. Tim is a mysterious fellow. He has short salt and pepper hair, sun-hardened smile lines, egg-colored eyes. He's good-looking, tanned, athletic, enthusiastic, though sometimes a bit grim. Definitely be someone you would consider a father-type figure.
Wonderful. Next we have Fred.
Hello, everybody. My name is Andrew Boss. I will be playing Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers tonight. Fred Astaire is a wizard, and Ginger Rogers is my familiar. Fred is a man from Cheliax. He along the way has come to kind of enjoy the company of wild animals. I think because he kind of finds his familiar to be a bit annoying at times, and so he'd rather spend his time with the animals instead. But soon he will be, I think, forced to put up with his familiar, and they will probably get along. So that's great. I've been playing role-playing games for about 10 years, but really mostly in the last 3 or 4 years is when I've kind of sat down and started to play a lot. Yeah, so that's me.
Wonderful. And next we have Brad, who's playing Tregul.
So I'm Brad Swanson. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing games since probably 77 or so. I've got a nice collection of the Dragon magazines from the late 70s and early 80s. I am playing Tregul, who is an elven ranger who is in search of his animal companion Baigul, and has been enslaved into this mission in order to try and win the companion back.
Very good. And next we have Clobber.
Hello, my name's Sean Lee. I've been playing a variety of role-playing games since the late 1990s. I've played Palladium, Dungeons and Dragons, every edition since second edition, White Wolf, pretty much you name it. Tonight I will be playing Clobber Summit Hole. He's a dwarven monk who first joined a mountaintop monastery to Aurori at the young age of 15. Devoting himself to building his body to defend dwarven kind. 66 years later, he has decided to test his abilities in a dungeon with some unknown companions. To prove himself, he brings nothing but the clothes on his back, the food in his pack, and a few magical trinkets. No weapons, unlike the image.
Very good. Next we have Hammeraxe.
Hello, my name is Joseph Snyder. I am the venture agent for the Pleasant Lodge. I'm here to participate in this tournament with a character named Drengen Denari, a family patriarch of most of my Pathfinder characters. I am a fighter with a touch of cleric, and I'm here to win. So, best foot forward.
Wonderful. Next we have Delanad. Delanad. I will get it right. Yeah, there's always one character in the group that comes up with a name with too many consonants in a row, and you, sir, have won that esteemed privilege. But please continue. I'm sure you'll become my favorite.
Thank you. So my name's Ian Schaefer. I've been playing role-playing games since about 1994, when I was introduced to them for the first time after moving to a new city from my original home city. I'm from the southern part of Lansing, in Michigan, so about an hour south of everyone else. And I'm currently the venture agent trying to build our lodge down here. But tonight I will be playing Delanad. Delanad is a half-orc and is the right hand of Tim, hired muscle, if you will. Delanad was a former bricklayer, quite skilled in the constructions of walls and fortresses, but he turned his eye to adventuring when the idea that more wealth could be generated from hurting things directly instead of indirectly hurting things by keeping them out.
Very good. And next we have Ziggy.
Hi, I'm Steve, and I'll be playing Ziggy today. Ziggy is an elf, despite his appearance. You might think he would be a halfling or something a little bit shorter, but in fact he is a 3-foot-tall elf. And he is a wizard, and every once in a while, if you are perceiving closely, you might see a little tiny rat, or should I say diminutive rat, poking out of his pocket every once in a while. That's Skitters. And I've been playing for, I'll go on the long end and say 5 years. And I am happy to be playing under the GM who GM'd my first game, Aaron Hale, and I'm super excited to be here tonight. I've heard lore of Tomb of Horrors for a long time, and I can't believe I'm actually going to play it tonight. So thanks, everybody. I look forward to seeing what happens here.
Wonderful. I'm you got me right in the feels there, buddy. It's glad to come back and connect that back to our first gaming experience a few years ago. It's always great to have you at the table. Next, we're going to go to Todd. Todd's playing Lucky tonight.
All right, yes. My name is Todd Palmer, and I first started playing AD&D back in the mid-'80s, and then I stopped playing for a while because of schooling and college and stuff. But then my son had some friends that started playing again several years ago down in Mount Pleasant, and I've gotten into 3.5 and 4 and 5 D&D, and then Pathfinder, and enjoy it. I love getting together with the guys and just doing this kind of stuff. I also like dropping some dice and killing some bad guys. My character tonight is a halfling that, of course, started out as a rogue, but then really enjoyed being nice and helping people, so trying to amend the ways, and would really love to be the paladin with the big sword charging into battle, but knows that is not what a less than 3 foot character should do, so stays back and plugs the bad guys with arrows.
Excellent. And then last, but certainly not the least among you, we have Lauren, who's playing Thordy.
Hi, my name is Lauren Dyko. I too, a longtime player, started in the 70s with chainmail and worked my way forward. I've always enjoyed the escape and the camaraderie of role-playing with friends. My character tonight is a monk dwarf by the name of Thordy, and his backstory basically is that Torag came to him in a dream and said that there was a scar in the earth that he needed to cleanse, as a great evil had set in and was corrupting the earth. So his task is to eradicate the evil and make the earth once again safe for all.
That's awesome. That's really great. I got to tell you guys, I'm really thankful that you guys are here. It's really great to get a group that I am comfortable with running a group of 10 for. No less. I'm sure it's going to be nothing less than a great experience, and I'm so excited to get things started tonight. Before we get going, I would like to thank a few people. First and foremost, this tournament attracted an anonymous donor, and the anonymous donor has provided the prize for this evening, which we'll explain when we get into the tournament rules. And they also compensated me for running this game, as a full disclosure, with the same prize. So I've really been investing myself in trying to give you guys a great and professional experience, and I hope that by the time we finish today, you will agree that you've had a really great time, and that would make me very happy if you do. The first person I'd like to thank is the late Gary Gygax for writing the original adventure and starting the creative endeavor with his partners to create the game that we know and love today. I would like to thank Wizards of the Coast for producing the 3.5 version of this game. It made the conversion to Pathfinder much easier. And of course, I would like to thank Paizo, its current and past staff, for the wonderful edition of Pathfinder First Edition. It's one of the best crunch-based role-play, vibrant fantasy role-playing games I have played in my long and illustrious career, and this wouldn't be possible without them. Roll20, of course, for providing the game space. Discord for hosting our voice chat for absolute free. The folks over at XSplit video streaming for allowing me to do this streamcast for a very low cost and hopefully a fairly professional quality. And lastly, the folks over at RPG... oh my goodness, I forgot. Drive-Thru RPG. That's what it is. My wonderful wife just helped fill in the blank there. But Drive-Thru RPG for providing the PDFs for a very reasonable price and giving great access to classic content. So with that all said, and of course thank you for you, the people who are taking the time to take a peek at this and share our experience with us, we will get on to the tournament. This is a 10-player tournament, as it was in 1975. In 1975, Gary handed out random NPC, or pre-generated characters to his contestants, and they were anywhere from 6th to 12th level. So, but in this version, we are running 9th level characters. They are built with a 15-point buy for their ability scores. Players have used only the core rulebook version of the game. When I adapted this to Pathfinder, however, I did happen to use my entire rules library, but what is a GM to do? The characters are equipped with 49,000 gold pieces worth of gear, and if we have one character who has taken leadership and has a hireling, and that person is actually equipped with the heroic NPC level version of gear, so less than the normal Pathfinder game. We will be adhering to the Pathfinder First Edition rule set to the best of our knowledge and ability, with one minor exception for expediency, and since Tomb of Horrors is a giant dungeon crawl, without much break in the action, we are only rolling initiative once, which we have done pre-recording and have ready to go here in Roll20, and we will not be breaking that initiative order for the rest of our experience here. So in that case, none of our players have invested in initiative feats because they do not bear a statistical advantage. So a high initiative is not necessarily advantageous in this game. With that explained, let's go on to our prize. The prize for winning tonight's tournament is a amazing copy, the deluxe collector's gift box of Art and Arcana, a visual history of Dungeons and Dragons. This is really just a spectacular book. I've got just a brief look at the inside. It's an amazing art history presentation of the history of this game from its inception in the early 70s right into the 5th edition of the game that is popular now. Additionally, it has posters and art from all eras of the game, as well as the original leaflet reproduction of the Tomb of Horrors tournament in the original typeset with the original drawings from that original 1975 tournament that Origins won. It is just an amazing prize by our anonymous donor, and that is available to the person who wins the tournament. In addition to winning the tournament, we are giving away a variety of boons at the end of the game, and this is the list of boons that will be available as door prizes if you would have to players, and we will be explaining how you can earn those boons and the rules, which I will do next. The tournament rules are as follows. As play occurs, we shall adhere to initiative order and actions at all times. There are 10 of you and 1 of me, and motives may be conflicting at times. Unless it is your initiative, you should not transmit and channel. If you have something important to say out of turn, you may ping the map and I will acknowledge you. Your turn should take an average of 1 minute to complete and not more than 3 minutes in total. If we encounter a puzzle-type situation, I will give 5 minutes for open discussion before going back to turn-by-turn actions. As you gain treasure and magical artifacts in our game, I will add them and their value to your individual equipment lists in Roll20. You will be able to view your equipment lists as handouts at any time, but you will not be able to edit them. You will not be able to see equipment lists or character sheets of your fellow adventurers. All garnered treasure in tonight's game is personal treasure and will be counting directly towards your point total for winning the game. The player of the character that leaves the Tomb of Horrors alive, carrying the highest total value of gear and loot, wins the amazing coffee table book. Yes, I realize this forces you to choose between using expendables to survive and overcome obstacles, or saving them for a higher score at the end of the game. Life is all about tough choices. Gear carried by hirelings and the value of the magical slavery collars each of you wear do not count towards this tournament. Items that were crafted during character creation are worth the value spent crafting them and not the total value of the item. There are no alignment restrictions in this game. This is not a Pathfinder Society sanctioned game. This game does not reward a Chronicle sheet for participation. The rules presented in the Pathfinder Role-Playing Guild Guide do not apply to this game. At the conclusion of our game, a selection of Pathfinder Society boons shall be awarded for the following items. First Blood. This award will be given to the first player to have a character die in tonight's tournament. At the end of the tournament, we will determine the rest of the boon awards by popular vote. Those categories will be the best roleplay, the most valuable player in tonight's proceedings, the best death of the module, and the worst death of the module. You will select boons in order of the categories which I presented. So the person who dies first will get the first selection of boons, and the person who died the worst is deemed by their fellow cohorts will have the last choice of boons. I wish you good luck, have fun, and for all those about to die, I humbly salute you. In the event of a tie, if all characters should die, the last character alive will have won the tournament. If more characters than just one dies on the same round, the character with the fewest number of negative hit points shall win. With that said, I think we shall begin the game proper. I will do a bit of an introduction explaining how you got here, because we're beginning with an opening scene of you standing outside the Tomb of Horrors, but the story that brought you here actually began a few years ago. A few years back, you were, each of you, for varying reasons and in various times over a period of 18 months, were visiting the city of Daggermark in the River Kingdom. Your business there was your own, and not particularly important to this tale overall, and that would be a better story for another day, and perhaps another roll of the die. The important thing to know is that while you were visiting Daggermark, you were charged with a serious crime. Some of you probably committed them. Some of you definitely did not. Some of you may have even been the victim of the political machinations and the victims of political assassination. But regardless of the validity of the crime, you were all convicted and placed in the dungeons beneath the castle Daggermark. You were judged by Prince Martro Livendar, the Lord of Daggermark, in his royal court, and issued to 15 years imprisonment in the dungeon. As part of your sentence, you were greeted by a man of interesting style who brought forth a magical item. He was introduced as the Wizard Smythe. He's an interesting looking fellow. I would trust him with my life, wouldn't you? Anyway, the Wizard Smythe brought forth a bronze collar to each of you, and it was placed upon your neck. Once that occurred, the Lord of Daggermark raised forth a glowing ring and proclaimed that all of you would spend your time in his dungeon, and that you should not try to escape, and that you should not try to do anything related to your former lives besides dwell on the crime that you have committed. And with that, you were brought to the dungeon. You quickly learned that trying to escape, even spending a day thinking about escaping, caused you to wake up the next day racked with a headache, weak in the body, fuzzy in the mind, and shaky. Each day you continued to do so, you got worse and worse, until you realized the only way to get better and be whole of body was to dwell on what you've committed, or to focus on spending on the moment and live in the presence of your imprisonment. The days were excruciating and long. You lost count quite quickly. After what seems like an eternity, you were visited once again by Prince Martro and the Wizard Smythe. And it was explained to you that he had a proposition. He had a job, and if you were willing to carry out this job to its completion, he would commute your sentence. He would remove your collars and let you continue with your lives. You would be absolved of all crimes and of past crimes to the city of Daggermark, and you would be able to live out the rest of your lives. With little choice, you agreed. With the glowing ring again, he explained that deep in the land of Iobaria, there is a burial mound of an ancient wizard named Asarak. Within, Asarak has untold magical treasures and coin, riches beyond imagine. And that you shall travel to Iobaria, you shall travel to Asarak's cairn, and you shall explore its depths thoroughly, and you shall remove all things of value, and you shall bring them back to Daggermark, and you shall bring them to me, Prince Martro of Livendar. And you will turn over these riches, and upon that you will be free. The ring blinked a couple of times, and you felt your collars shift. You felt something inside you waver and become something new. That oily taint that had been coming from the collar for so many years was still there, but almost as if it was a different awful flavor now. You were given proper clothing, baths, shaves. You were made presentable. You were given a large selection of magical accoutrements and fine gear, adventuring gear to choose from. You've now equipped yourselves, and you once again feel somewhat like who you used to be before all this terrible endeavor began. Much to your chagrin, it was the wizard Smythe, who, and a retinue of the Lord's men, who led you from Daggermark in the River Kingdom, south along the river to a circle of sending stones, the wizard Smythe explained, that would help safely travel you to deep into the Iobarian wilderness, where the burial cairn exists. Without even asking your permission, or if anyone was ready, he tapped his cane 3 times, and with a sickening jolt, you were awash in magical energy, until you instants later, with no change in time to yourselves, rematerialize deep in the Iobarian wilderness, near Lake Pristoi. Before you is a gigantic burial mound, nearly a quarter of a mile in diameter, massively tall, and devoid of much exterior. There's no demarcation of anything odd or any entrance, as you can see as you scout the environs. But you know there must be a way inside. You've actually spent quite a bit of time poking and prodding around the exterior. The day has actually gotten quite frustrating, as though you started early in the morning. There is probably many hours have passed. In fact, I'll roll for that now, just for fun. And it has been almost 15 hours, so it's getting towards evening when you are poking around and you come off to a face of the mound. And it has to be the last place you haven't looked. And that is where we come upon our heroes, a bit tired and a bit weary, continuing on their quest as the sun is setting. On the horizon, a massive stone bridge can be seen, broken in a jagged cleft, as if it once crossed the river there, but has long ago fallen into decay, making a bit of casting a dystopian feel over the entire scene and making the day ever more weary. If you will hold, we are doing our transition. We are good. And we are now, I'm going to bring up the turnover order for all of you, and we can go back to where we began, outside the Tomb of Horrors. And we shall begin with Tim, the rather nondescript, friendly-looking man.
I believe now that we've spent some time looking around, we need to make a plan.
Very good. Would you guys like to take 5 minutes and make a plan?
Sounds excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Please talk
That's
amongst
a good
yourself.
idea, boss.
I think we should snuggle up with the sheep and sleep for the night.
That's not a bad idea.
I concur that a good night's rest would be step 1.
Yes, and a hearty meal, mutton.
Yes, well, we will need to set watches, of course, because we are near a carrion hill.
That's what those sheep and goats are for. Anything nasty comes along, they'll eat them first.
I mean, if we had a sheepdog, then they'd be good alarms, but I don't know if they'll be good alarms, right?
We picket them in a giant circle, we sleep in the middle, everything's great.
How can you guys think about sleep right now? All I can think about is this compulsion to get inside that tomb.
I too was looking forward to going into the ground again. It
There are
has been
things to
a
smash.
very long time.
Yes, but
Rushing
if
in
we,
order to meet this is only going to lead to our deaths.
And we do have some spellcasters here who might want to rethink what they, what they prayed for their
Yes,
spells.
we didn't wish to-
Traveling can be very different. We just got out of prison, probably not everything really well prepared. I think sleeping is the wisest choice, and I've found my sheep already.
Ah, that is a wise choice for a sheep. He will keep you very warm.
He is quite fluffy.
You can continue to pull the wool over your own eyes.
Oh,
I'm with you guys. Whatever.
What's upsetting the sheep?
probably me.
Yeah, so we should sleep and then move forward. Is that our plan?
Yes. So we need 3 watches.
Very well. So we shall sleep.
Did the imprisoner not explain the terms of the collars? Because I believe it's a Gaius spell. So if we sleep now without fully going into, like, if we don't fully commit to trying to our best ability to complete the Gaius, I think it's going to take penalty on us. I might be wrong. We might need Aaron to clarify.
Isn't our full intention to go in just fully rested?
Yeah, that gives us the greatest chance of success. If we're not rested, rested, and ready, we're going to be dead, and we won't have anything to bring back.
We've also spent all day looking for this thing. That's trying out.
This is true. This is true.
I can take as many watches as you would like. I'm kind of elfish. I don't really need to sleep that much.
I need 2 hours of rest.
Same, just 2.
Why don't we put them in the middle watch then?
The cornerstone of any good democracy is voting, so why don't we all vote on what we do? Boss?
It would make the most sense to me that we all do the appropriate time when we guard. Seeing as we are dwarfs, Clobber and I, we can see the best in the evening without the light.
Tim
As
is speaking.
can I.
Quote, as you guys speak, Tim and Delanet are speaking softly to each other without you being able to hear.
Well, I'm going to climb up on my sheep and just be ready in case anything happens. And you folks can set your watches as you like. I plan on staying up all night just in.
Quit touching the sheep.
Are we sleeping or what?
It sounds like the sheepdog's back.
Yes, I think we are going to rest for a night. It has been a long 15 hours.
Rest
Very
then
well.
enter.
That is what
I
I'm
will
hear-
take the first watch.
That is what I'm hearing. We're breaking up into watches, and we're gonna sleep for the night. That's okay with me. The evening passes. The watch it's windy. You get a little bit of rain late. It's kind of miserable. I forgot to mention too. You guys have been trudging through pretty swampy terrain around the lake, and the cairn is a grassy knoll, a giant grassy hill that rises up out of the swamp. So you there's that bog stench and all of the bog sounds. You probably see some bog gas lights at night, or maybe some will-o-wisps off in the distance. Obviously, you know better than to investigate that. You've been around the block a time or two. With that, the morning dawn comes, and you guys had a rather peaceful, restful night. You awaken in the morning not feeling horrible, but actually feeling pretty refreshed and like you strangely got a good night's sleep.
That's the secret of sheep.
Shall we enter?
You could certainly count them if you couldn't go to sleep.
So the next morning, after you break camp and service your gear and get ready to go, It is Tim taking the initiative here.
So Tim says to the group, we need to some sort of power rank where those that are more armored may protect. Casters stay towards the back. Our healers should please identify yourself right now if you will be providing healing to those in the party. Wait for
I'll be providing some heals for me.
As will I. I will also be doing this all the time, of course.
I would be surprised if the paladins did not wish to go first. So I would bring up the rear and protect our vanguard.
I'm quite happy in the rear as well.
I will support the paladins.
I do not mind going in front.
I think we all saw Trey Ghoul's preference for the rear last night.
My sheep doesn't tell tales.
What are we going to do with all these sheep?
I like the idea of sending the sheep and goats first.
Well,
After we
yes,
find the entrance, of course.
We have not found this entrance?
That is correct. You searched all day yesterday, made your way almost around you made yourself clockwise around the hill looking for an entrance, and you did not find one. And now you're back at the last 20% of the hill, probably less. And you're like, if we haven't found it anywhere else, it has to be here. And that's where you start.
Well, perhaps if we
let's start walking.
Closely.
It is. We'll start off with Tim.
It is said that your people are well known for seeing things. Why don't you go ahead and see what you can find?
Well, Tim will go ahead and delay, and we're on to Thordy.
Thordy will begin examining the cairn, the massive mound, and use his innate stone cutting ability to see if he can find an entrance where there wasn't one, or where there might be a depression where there shouldn't be one.
Sure, that's not a problem. Thordy goes some looking around.
He'll begin moving again. We went clockwise, you said, so I'll continue moving slowly clockwise, scanning the ground and this side of the hill, looking for something that would be an unnatural depression.
So would you like to move clockwise and then perceive?
If that's, I'm not sure where the edge of the hill is, but that's what I will do.
The edge of the hill is the black area below you. So the edge of the hill is depicted here. It's not really curved. Here, I'll ping the map for you. See the edge of the...
So he'll come down to just the edge of the hill and begin moving along the edge of the hill to the right, looking for an entrance.
So you were here?
Yes.
Since we're in movement order, we'll go ahead and... That should work. Yeah, 40 feet. That's your move. Is a dwarf monk. Correct. Awesome. We're cool. You are looking from there. I am going to do a couple quick measurements on the GM layer to make things well for perception. All right. All right. So you identify a couple of depressions. One of them is located right here. Can you see that, Ping?
I'm a little bit
Yes,
zoomed
sir.
in, so I cannot.
Okay.
Try. Would you do that
I
once
couldn't
again?
see it
That's
either.
fine. We'll zoom out so you can see
Oh,
that.
okay. I will announce to the party that I found something that's somewhat strange and point out where it would be.
Very good. And then you also notice depression here.
And once again, I will let all those know that I have found something odd in the hill that perhaps bears investigation.
Yep. And then with that, it is Tragul's turn.
What is the movement of a sheep?
A sheep moves 40 feet, I believe.
I will continue to ride my sheep up to the hillside and start looking around as well, using either perception or survival, depending on whatever you think is more appropriate.
I would like you to make a handle animal check first, because sheep are not used to be ridden.
Oh, mine is.
Oh, you've been training it, eh?
All night.
Thordy begins to chuckle softly to himself. Sheep riders, indeed.
Solid 7.
Solid 7. The sheep kind of doesn't do what you want it to. It's off. It kind of wanders. Your sheep kind of wanders up this way. Thordy, where are you? Thordy, or not Thordy?
Tragul over here.
Tragul, yeah. That's who I'm looking for. Is Tragul.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah, your sheep kind of wanders over here.
I will probably dismount then and start wandering over so I can eventually be of use.
Okay, that sounds good. Darn sheep anyway. I mean, what are they good for?
Emergency rations.
So you would still have the movement action to move if you'd like, Tragul.
Yeah, then I'd like to come down and get towards the... Make up for my sheep's errant movement and head down to the...
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and move there. And with that, I think we're going to actually take a quick break, folks. We're going to go take a 10-minute break. Please be back at 10 after the hour. And we will see what happens next when Ziggy takes the reins and acts on Thordy's advice as to the perceived openings in the hill. So with that, we will be right back. Welcome back from break, folks. It has been a whopping 6 seconds that our characters have been exploring the Tomb of Horrors. We left off with some sheep escapades with a sheep riding misfortune and by Tragul there, and now it is the notorious Ziggy. Ziggy, you're up, sir.
All right. I am going to. I saw the first ping where you said there was he had found some sort of indication that something was iffy.
Yeah, zoom way out on your map because that fella has keen eyes. He saw another one way over here.
I see.
Yeah.
I will start making my way towards the secondary. So
okay.
I suppose I will move with all haste over there.
Okay. You may do so with a wild abandon, sir. We will all wait a bit, waiting to see what the consequences of your actions are. Coming up next is Fred and his little friend.
All right.
There, that's a double move. That's as careful as I want to be.
Very good.
I will go ahead and take my 40 feet of fly to move up some and then over, and I will fly somewhat close to the this middle area where all the trees are to see what I can see.
Okay.
I'll just take a double move.
Very good. Off you go. Very good. So you're flying the full double move for your movement, correct?
Yeah, but I have to fly up some, so I
Yeah,
think
you lose a
probably
little about. Yeah.
right there would probably be appropriate.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Now the wonderful Talia.
Yeah, I'm going to move to right there.
Okay.
Just with a double move in that. That is it.
Mr. Lucky. The wee one. I don't
Oh
know.
my.
I've actually wondered this as your game master. Who is taller, Lucky or Ziggy?
Ziggy is
probably-
3 foot even.
Oh, Ziggy. Ziggy's the tall one.
How tall is
Let's
Lucky?
see.
Yeah,
I will move up. Go ahead.
I'm 3 foot tall, but I'm only 15 pounds.
Oh my.
Oh my.
I can't hide behind you. It'd be like hiding behind a post. But I will double move also up to behind Ziggy.
Okay, that sounds great. Then we have the fabulous Ginger, who is probably just going to hang out, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to put Ginger on delay. So Ginger just kind of gets to go when Ginger wants. Now we have Delanid.
Delanid is going to unlimber his axe and take a double move. To there.
Very good. And then we have Hammeraxe's turn. I really apologize. I didn't get a chance to do a close-up of Hammeraxe when we had our introductions. So obviously you can see that Hammeraxe is a very fierce dwarf. And that certainly does look like a Hammeraxe. So please, what would you like to do?
And I'm grumpy too. Are you done talking?
Yeah, I'm done stealing your show here.
I'm gonna shove
Very
these
cool.
sheep aside and take a double move over to all this commotion here. And just kick at the ground as everyone talks about sheep and goats and what they do.
The fabulous Miss Pippi.
Yes, wait for me as I try to catch up over here and go, wait.
It's just a double move.
And then Mr. Clobber.
I think Tim
Bobber's
wanted
going
to go.
to. Go ahead, Tim.
Sorry, I was just waiting. He's going to slowly move at half movement. It's kind of like moving 15 feet.
Sure.
And scan the edge of. Would you like a perception roll or anything?
I've already done so. So you too see the opening here, but you can't really see what Tragul was talking about when he was looking down here.
Could you explain what you mean by depression more?
Well, it looks like there's like there was a tunnel there, but like the scree and erosion of the ages has like sedimented it shut. But if you look closely, you can kind of see that it's indented there in a rough depression, 20 foot in diameter.
Okay, I got it.
Sounds like dwarves work to me.
Sounds like orc work to me.
I will tell you that there is no dwarven tunnel that collapses after 20 years.
Watch your tone about orc work.
And now it is Clobber's turn.
All right, I'm going to amble myself over. That's a single move action. And I will spend the rest of my time perceiving at the entrance, or perceived entrance. See if I notice anything with my enhanced dwarven senses.
Very good. So you scan about with your enhanced dwarven senses, and you see the depression here. You can tell with your enhanced dwarven senses that there's probably definitely a open cavity behind there by the way the earth is laying. The layer of earth is probably only 3 to 4 foot thick there. You also see a similar indentation over here.
And that's the same one that he saw before.
Would you ping that again, please? I would like to put a mark so I can kind of get a feel for where it is.
Here.
I'm not seeing your ping.
I'm not seeing the ping either.
Here, I can do this.
I drew a square where I think one is.
Oh, wow.
See, now I moved you. It's here. You guys see it there?
Now we see the ping, yep.
Good, thank you.
That's, I forget my handy GM tool there with a shift click will pop you right over to where you need to be. So I'll use that more often. You guys will go, whoa, you just jerked me all over there. But
is that space correct? Do I have that one correct?
That space is pretty correct, yes. Yeah. And the other one is, right there. So you got them marked.
All right, I will tell the rest of the group. It's about 3 to 4 foot to dig through this hole. Whoever wants to start digging, go at it.
All right, so now we are going to the end of round 1, and it is Thordy's turn.
Okay, Thordy will extract his wand of wand of major armor from his pack and attempt to use it and move up to the actual spot where he believes the depression is. And he's unsuccessful in this particular instance. So he's going to go 40 feet, and that's the end of what he does.
Okay. And Tregul.
Tregul would like to continue moving along and using his perceptive skills as well to try and find all of the things that the dwarves are obviously missing.
Okay, so Tregul is going to move and then perceive?
Yeah, I'm going to be moving... I'm going to be moving this way and searching as I go to see if there's been anything we missed.
All right. That's not a bad idea. So you do some searching around to determine if there's anything that we've missed here. So that's going to be... And that's all you see. You don't learn anything additional. You learn that there is the 2 depressions, and that you can also tell, like the Roars did, that they're probably both hollow. You can also tell that this giant dragon skeleton, it's kind of odd because this one here.
Mm-hmm.
The bones appear very old, but nothing has grown where it crashed into the ground there.
Can I tell anything about what type of a dragon it might have been?
You can make a knowledge arcana check.
Oh no, I can't.
Let's
see.
No.
Oh yeah, I'm not even sure it's a dragon.
You're pretty sure it's a crocodile, which makes sense because this is the swamp. But you've never seen a crocodile that sized before.
Or with wings.
Very good.
But it does have a cloaca.
It has a cloaca for sure. With that, we're gonna go with Ziggy.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure I'm not in that 20-foot depression.
You are not, sir. The 20-foot depression is here, and it's to the south into the blackness on your map. The blackness represents the side of the mound, and at that location there's an indentation in the side of the mound.
Okay, and do I see those dragon bones over there?
You do.
Well, that would be of great interest to my character, so I would like to try a Knowledge Arcana check, if I may.
Sure.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Nat 20.
So you know that was a black dragon, and it was a black dragon of quite immense age that died. And you are just like it was shown. It appears that it died by crashing into the ground, so something killed it, and it just kind of fell here.
And so it's perhaps can I determine the exact age? Was it like a great worm?
It was either a worm or a great worm. And you actually kind of put together your arcane knowledge and know that great worm probably contained a large volume of caustic dragon acid. And that acid has probably poisoned the ground there for many decades.
Wow, that's intense.
Yes.
I am going to use the latter part of my turn detecting magic.
Okay. You reach out with your magical senses, and you do not detect any magic within your range of your magical perceptions. But you could always move about and continue to concentrate next round to continue to detect magic if you'd like.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. We move on to Mr. Fred.
All right, I will fly somewhat closer to the opening that people were talking about, or the dent. I'm still up in the air, probably over there, and I will try to look around as well.
All right. We can have a gaze about. You take a peek about, and you definitely get a good look at the depression here. You can see that quite clearly, but you do not see what they're talking about in the distance over there. They apparently have really good eyes, sir. Because you have,
Gotcha.
like I said, But this one, you know exactly what this looks like, so you're assuming if they're telling the truth, there's another one of these down that way. Talia. Okay. Talia, you concentrate. You see some magical symbols kind of show up in the air around Talia as she concentrates. And would you like to take a move action, Talia?
Yes, she will move just to there.
Okay, that sounds good. I am answering you, but it is Lucky's turn.
All right, now I can see the corpse of the dragon, correct? And has Ziggy explained anything about the dragon, or we don't know what's going on with the dragon?
You just see me in awe of you probably see me gazing over that way, and I'm just awed by the magic that the dragon must have had, being of the size it is. But I haven't explained
Okay, knowing dragons as I do, I would be interested as a rogue if there's any treasure that it had in its pockets when it crashed to ground, and I'd look for that. But the depression that we are near, because the other depression is on the other side of the dragon, is that open or not open? I believe it's not open.
It
Is
is
that
not
correct?
open. They are all mostly. You're basically detecting the openings of tunnels that have been sealed shut by loose dirt on the outside of them, accreting them shut and obstructing them.
So, opening this up to the group, are we going to try to open up this depression or go to the next one, or what's our game plan?
I say we try to open this depression. It is here. We do not have to deal with the dragon.
Well, the dragon's dead, so I think we're safe from dealing with it no matter what.
We are at a place
a
called the
crocodile,
Tomb of
folks.
Horrors. I do not trust this.
Okay, or eventually they'll call them dinosaurs, but yeah, whatever. And do we have to mention that we have our weapons in hand, or are we going to assume that we're armed?
You can assume that you're armed.
Excellent, because I am, and I'm horrible at digging, so I'm going to stand here waiting for somebody to open up the depression so that we can make a hole, and I can enter that hole.
Okay.
Were you in a fraternity or something?
Ginger can actually go now.
Okay.
Ginger, did you mind talking to a special person for me? And Ginger will go ahead and cast Augury.
Okay. You see some lights and symbols dance around Fred's body, but more like over his left shoulder. And then it is your Ginger's turn to speak as he casts the spell. I'm sorry. The casting time is 1 minute for Augury.
Okay,
so
that's fine.
You will be doing this for a few rounds.
Yep, perfect.
All right. Moving along, that is what Ginger is up to. We need to go back, and it is Delanid's turn.
Alright, so just so I'm clear, the depression starts where this white square is?
Yes. Oh, and you can probably all hear some sort of muffled, small chanting in a strange, squeaky voice coming from Fred's general vicinity. Continue, Delanid. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Not a problem, not a problem. Alright, so I'm going to take my 30-foot move up to that space, and foregoing shovels, because who needs shovels, I'm going to axe this wall. And the question is, will you open for my axe?
Go ahead.
It is an adamantine axe, by the way.
Oh, okay. I would ask you to roll for damage, but I don't think that's really going to be necessary. You can tell that you have made pretty good progress. It's loose. It's not hard. It's like scree. It's like actual sand and like loam and roots and bits of sod and stuff. So you realize that if you were to spend a full round action next round clearing, you would probably clear the space in front of you.
I will relay that information while I continue to chop and pull.
Very good. Hammer axe.
Well, I'm going to begrudgingly take a double move over towards the half-orc And it's kind of sad to see a half-orc doing the work of a dwarf and everyone's standing around. Pull out my crowbar and attempt to loosen any other material or
Awesome.
debris.
Yeah, you can kind of, with fair effectiveness, use your crowbar as a makeshift pick. Pippi.
So Pippi will just kind of keep up with me and run up to over there.
Okay. Tim?
Tim will slowly circle up to the north of Talia, quietly observing them digging out the depression.
Very good. Clobber.
I would like to move to here. So that should put me on one side of the depression. Instead of actually trying to clear what's actually in the depression, I want to get around the edge of the depression, see if I can get to any stonework, check for any writings or anything of that nature.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
I don't have much of a digging tool, I have a grappling hook.
Right.
Which I can try to scratch at dirt with.
Sure. So you give that area a good look over, and you realize that there's probably a stone wall edge, the original blip of the entrance, right here, right to your left, as you face that tomb.
May I adjust my movement? Because I would have preferred to have been not standing in front of the entrance.
Sure.
I had enough movement, at least.
Yeah, go ahead.
There you go.
Perfect. Now it is Thordy's turn.
Thordy will mutter to Hammerax as he goes by in Dwarven, "I think you stepped in something." And then he looks at the wand and shakes it and tries again. Silly magic wand. Nope. And looks like he's not going to be able to use it today.
Yeah, it actually sets forth a little puff of smoke and gets hot.
I'm going to find the guy who sold me this wand and show him what the problem is.
He was the most reputable wand merchant in Daggermark.
Yeah,
so
that
strange.
somehow figures.
Tregu.
I've got a lot of dwarves and orcs doing work for me. So, I guess I'm just going to keep looking around and seeing if we find anything else of interest while the lesser species do the work for me.
Lesser species, eh?
So, Aaron, I would like to, do another perception check, just kind of wandering back and forth as I go, but I want to stay somewhat close to where we are with these guys.
Okay, no problem. You go ahead and look about, and you can see... You don't see anything new. You can see that depression pretty well down there. You can tell these guys are making very good progress, and you're probably going to get to see what's behind this depression in a few seconds.
So in that case, if I know that, I would probably want to line up behind it and ready my bow just in case.
Well, you've used a move
if I would have time.
You've
Nope,
used
then
a move
that's
action
good.
to perceive, so you could use
That's
your
good,
second.
then.
You could move your second move action to move up behind the depression, but you wouldn't be able to ready.
Okay, I will, and then this is the actual opening that we're going to be going into?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so then I'm going to go... Okay, and then I'm done.
Okay. Ziggy.
I'm going to ask Thordy what's all this business about this wand he's been trying to use.
Well, I was given this thing to attempt to give me some sort of armor, and it doesn't seem to want to work for me. Do you know how to make this work? Would you try?
Mage armor? Is that what this wand?
Some sort of invisible, weightless armor.
I could give it a try. So
I'll hand him the wand.
I'll work over there and. All right, so I guess I'll take the wand. I probably can't activate it this turn.
You walk over there and you grab the wand from him, and begin, preparing to activate it.
Can I spellcraft it this turn?
I believe that's at least a move action as well.
Okie doke. That's my turn.
Let me verify that for you real quick. Because I haven't looked at that in a long time. I imagine a lot of people haven't, actually. Activation.
It says requires no action.
Okay, go right ahead. You intently look at it, trying to extract its arcane secrets.
Oh my god, if you're keeping track, that's 2 20s in a row.
It's pretty amazing. You are hot tonight, sir. Okay. You know with your arcane knowledge that the wand used by Thordy he's caused it to kind of short. The magical energies in it are in a state of chaotic disruption, and it will take about 24 hours for them to stabilize and the item to function again.
Oh, this is no good, mate.
Not only you could use it, it's just not going to function. It's not permanently broken, but it will not be working today.
Sorry, mate. It looks like they sold you a bum wand here.
Perhaps they didn't tell me how to use it.
You do know that mage armor will work with any creature touched. So if someone had the mage armor spell and was feeling charitable, they could cast it on him as a target. But he will not be using his wand for that purpose today.
So, yeah, I can go ahead. I can just get rid of this wand for you if you like. It's no good to you. It's broken.
I think I'll keep my wand, thank you.
Oh, that's my turn.
Okay. That is Ziggy's turn, so now we are on to Fred.
Excuse me. I think that maybe you all should wait. I may be able to shed some information upon whether it is actually a good idea to enter this entrance or the other one, if you would give me a moment.
Oh, you think you know something about this this area?
That doesn't sound like a bad idea.
I was already looking for some writing around the entrance.
I concur.
Let's get the orc off digging duty.
Well, we might as well keep digging, though, because if this does end up being the right one, then we're ahead of the game.
Well, perhaps they are both right ones, as in they are both entrances, but that does not mean that this one is better than the other one.
Doesn't mean it's any worse, though, either.
That is true, but I may be able to shed some light on which one is better.
Nope, I agree wholeheartedly. You keep doing that, and we keep the orcs and dwarves busy so they don't get into trouble. They tend to wander off if they don't have things to do.
I believe it could take some time, could it not, Fred?
It will take a bit of time, but if we are incorrect and this one is more dangerous than the other one. We may open up a Pandora's box, so to speak, and we may not like that.
I'm on Fred's side with this one. What do you guys think?
I think you're all kind of wimps.
Open it up. Let's go.
With that, I'm gonna. Fred, would you like to take a move or a standard action?
I will tell my unseen servant to wander down to the other one and start to make slow progress on it.
Okay.
And then I will fly a bit further away. Over here, see if I can see what they're further on.
Okay. You fly over that way and do some looking. At this point, you still don't see anything over here where Lauren was talking about. But you do your best to try to see what he's got there, but it just looks like the hillside.
You said doo-doo.
I did. Sorry. Poopy jokes. They're the best. Now it is Talia's turn. Okay.
I think I'll head down in that direction as well.
Okay. That sounds good.
So what are we doing? Are we going to the next one, or are we staying in this one, and where are the sheep?
I think we should continue to work here, look over, and I'm just going to keep guard and make sure no one comes up on the group while you're all working. I don't mind being the first in.
Okay. I'm just sitting here waiting for a hole to plunge in, as Trey Gould would say.
Very good. Anything else, sir?
None for me unless something else is opened up.
Do you want to go on delay then?
Yes.
Okay, Ginger. Ginger continues to concentrate. Casting the spell. It is Delanid's turn. Delanid's turn. Almost had it.
Almost. So, given my delicate orc sensibilities, I am going to continue to dig.
Okay, you dig, and you begin to break free into this chamber here. Okay? And you begin to see inside a little bit. I can probably give you a better description at this point.
With my 60 feet of dark vision.
Yeah, you can see some roughly worked plainstone. You're revealing a roughly worked plainstone corridor full of cobwebs. You can kind of see a bit of a double oaken doors at the other end of the passageway. You can tell the passage is roughly 20 feet in height. So it's a 20-foot tube going into the side of the, but it's got a flat floor. That is kind of what you see at this point. And it is Hammerax's turn.
I am going to use my full and a strength check if needed to finish opening this doorway.
Okay.
Would you like a strength check?
No. You are just able to continue to dig, and more of the area actually reveals. And at this point, you are able to get a good look at the inside of this passageway. You can see that there are thick cobwebs covering the entire ceiling, and there are those double doors down at the other side. They are made of wood, well-preserved oak.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome.
I alert my allies to the entrance being more open, and I give them a description as well as you gave.
Very good. It is Pippi's turn now.
All right. Pippi. Darn it, Talia! It's so hard to keep up with you. Get back here! And she will run after Talia.
Yeah, she can straight line run if she'd like. Do a triple move.
Great, yes, that is what she will do.
Cool. Tim.
Behind Tregul.
Very good. Clobber.
Well, seeing as I'm standing right next to the entrance, looking down the tunnel and seeing that door, the symbols above it, can I do a knowledge religion and knowledge history check to see if I recognize those?
Sure. Okay.
Religion.
Very good. History.
Wow.
Okay.
Bad.
You know what's horrible about this whole situation as you look it over? You have that sinking feeling like you've seen these before, but you can't remember where, like you can't place it. But you know that you've seen something like this before.
I will ask the party if anybody else has studied religion or history, especially in this area.
What does study mean?
I ignore the orc.
I have done a bit of study.
I have a training
making those images.
I've studied.
I invite a conversation to try to determine what those images might mean.
Okay. Now it is Authority's turn.
Authority has also done a little study, so he's going to move himself in this area and look down the hallway. He's more interested in perhaps if this cave-in was naturally caused, or if it was caused by some sort of device. So he'd like to take a good look at the floor and the walls and the ceiling to see if it's sound and if there's any sort of issue perhaps with anything else.
Okay.
And he puts his wand away.
All right. Do you want to make any checks?
Well, I thought perhaps perception was a check.
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad.
No, it's okay. I certainly can roll it.
No. Allow me. I've made it
Knowledge engineering.
I've made it so easy with my on macro.
I have trap finding and also stone cunning.
Right. You are able to find that the roof of this cave is very unstable. Basically, you're surmised with your dwarven knowledge of engineering and your keen observation of the room that something long ago wove webs across the ceiling in a very thick mat. And the ceiling of this room is collapsed. And the only thing holding the ceiling up are the webs. And any disturbance of the webs would make them fall. They're like in danger of collapsing any moment. And it will completely collapse this corridor. If anyone happened to be in the corridor when that happened, it would be very detritus to their health.
Wait, my friends, there's a potential problem here. I see that those webs are the only thing holding the roof from falling. We must in some way shore that up so that we can pass through this corridor safely. Do not enter on pain of potential death.
Okay. With that warning, we're going to go to break, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be back in 10 minutes. Let's be back at 10 after, please. You can get a tasty beverage, maybe a delectable item of your choice. Take a stretch, whatever you need to do, and I will see you back here at 10 after.